Welcome to Kung Fu Happy number 2. This is my final video for tonight. This is not a martial art video. This video will touch on racist topics, and I would prefer for you guys to have a strong heart about this. It's not for children. I don't want to offend anybody, so if you have a stern heart or you're very sensitive, this is not the video for you. Alright, so in light of the current racist Asian attacks, we're going to talk about a few things that aren't going to suit you well. And I'm going to dump this dehumidifier. Alright, so before we get started, I'm going to dump this dehumidifier because this topic is a hot pocket topic, you know. And I want to salute my father who passed away. Pick it up in the morning. First off, I want to salute my dad because he passed away 6 years ago today. It's after midnight, so I don't have a candle or incense to light, and since it's after midnight, it's not something that I should do just to be on the safe side because no one wants to burn down their own house. So, we had a couple of mass shootings lately, and unfortunately I want to talk about hatred on Asians in America today. Okay, first and foremost, that shit is unacceptable. Alright? Let's get that right. It's fucking unacceptable that you hate someone because of their race. Alright? If you want to hate somebody because they're an asshole, that's fine. I fall into that category. But you can never hate someone over their race, because that's like one of the two things in life that you can't really change. Alright? If you're Asian, this video is for you. Alright? In my all-out way of supporting Asian culture, because I am a Kung Fu master, in my all-out way of looking out for all of my Asian friends, you know, I would like to introduce myself one more time. My name is James Williams Jr. I am part Cherokee Indian. I am part black and I am part white, and I have no right to be a racist because of my ethnicity. So, if you're on my TikTok page, then you also know me as JW Grey Wolf. If you're on my Instagram or on my Facebook, then you know me as James Williams Jr. If you're on my YouTube channel, you know me as James Williams Jr. I'm the multicultural guy that can walk in all three worlds and understand why people do and say the things that they say, because most of us don't think before we speak. Alright? I've made a video like this before. I'll probably make 1,000 more videos like this before I die. I tell you guys that my crush is Chinese, and I'm dreadfully in love with her. This is her symbol. Only her poster is down here. But it's a double Z. You know. And she'll probably never see this video, and that's great. But if I ever get lucky and God makes my hopes and dreams come true and I get to marry Zeta, then so be it. You know? So yeah, I have a serious crush on Zeta Zay, who's Chinese. I watched her make a video now that she's home in America, and it kind of hurt me to see her fight back tears, and she was fighting back tears. Rather, y'all saw it, and I know that, and I can relate to the struggle. Having a Native American great-grandmother and having Native American blood and not knowing that Native Americans are biologically Asian for a very long time messed me up. Right? But once I learned, you know, now I have another reason to support more Asian culture, because Native American culture is also Asian cultures. Native Americans can be traced all the way back to Upper and Lower Mongolia and even Central Mongolia. But this isn't about Native American violence. This isn't about our former president calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, which I also have a living grandmother named Pocahontas. I've watched so many attacks on Asians from blacks and whites that it has made me go back like 3 years ago. I've posted videos where black people have done shit and they have made me ashamed to be black. Where white people have done shit and they've made me ashamed to be white. Where Native Americans have done shit and they've made me ashamed to be Native American. in the instance of Mrs. Rainbird. All right, when Miss Rainbird drove through the streets of L.A. with the stolen motorhome and the 2 dogs that she dog napped, I was like, God damn it! A Native American did something. Now I finally have a reason to be ashamed to be Native American, and I made a video about that. You know, when the young black kids that are of pretty wealthy, established parents stole the sunshades out of the Gucci store in China, which made no sense to me because you have money. Why would you do something that's stupid? It made me ashamed to be black. It also made me ashamed because our former president, who was the cause of all of this shit in the first place, he saved their asses. Alright? So we know where their family was going to vote because they weren't going to get out of China without a fucking problem. Because money can't buy everything. But if they come from money, they should have just paid for the fucking glasses instead of just taking the shit. Alright? That there hurt my feelings. Now I can tell you, I'm not going to lie, there is not a race of people on this planet that do not have some racism or prejudice within them. Whether you are black, white, or Asian, you have some people in our society, in your ethnicity, that don't like each other and don't like people of not the same race. Alright? Now the problem with that is, a lot of racist people don't understand one Asian culture from another. They think that all Asian people know Kung Fu. They think that all Asian people look alike. Okay, that's a stereotype, which I had brought up in my TikTok group, and hopefully I didn't offend anybody. The thing is that we are all human. If you peel our skin off, all of us will look exactly the same, no matter what your gender is. Because if you peel off a man's skin at the leather regions, we probably won't have a gender. Because your testicles and them are basically part of your skin. Yeah. Where a woman, on the other hand, her sexual organs are inside of her, so she'll probably still be able to go on her merry fucking way. Well, we not so much. Alright? So, I mean, if you've seen Hellraiser, you've seen what the guy looks like without skin. Alright? So there's no guarantee that this will still be there if you skint me alive. Alright? So, I mean, testicles might be there. There might be something hanging there, but there's no guarantee that I will still have my man parts. Alright? It's pretty much guaranteed that if a woman is skint alive, she'll still have her female parts. Now, if everybody walked around looking like that, no one would know what anybody's race was. No one would be racist. No one would be prejudiced. They might still be gender biased, but they won't be as bad off as we are in this world today. Alright? Now, I'm going to switch gears and get back on the whole entire Asian hate race thing, but I want you guys to understand something. Whether you are black, white, or Asian, because those are pretty much the 3 primary species of Earth, you know, Caucasoid, Negraloid, Mongoloid. I happen to be all 3, so I'm a hybrid. I don't have the right to be racist, but I have every right to call you out if you are. I watched a young black rapper on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram get insulted by a Chinaman, or let me be politically correct, an Asian man, and he called this young black man the N-word like 9 times while this guy was trying to film a rap video. Right then and there, I was pretty pissed off, and I was like, I can't believe this guy's doing that. And this was before the big-time Asian clusterfuck that is now, and it's been happening. So when I say that there is not a race on this earth that doesn't have somebody in that race that is prejudiced or racist, it's the fucking truth. Now, me personally, have never had any bad experiences with Asians. Alright? If you were from Korea or China or Japan, I have never had an issue with them at all. Alright? Now, I've had an issue with Native Americans, because I have been told twice to my face by the same tribe of people that I wasn't pure blood. That hurt me to my soul. Because there was a girl there that I was interested in, but because she was like one of the high chieftain's daughters, they straight told me, you can never marry our high chieftain's daughter because you're not pure blood. That sunk within me because years before that, I had a white dude calling me chief for 3 years straight. So you see the clusterfuck on me being ashamed to be part Native American on that. And that happened before the Miss Rainbird thing. But we didn't have YouTube or other social outlets back then. Now, way back then when the young white man was calling me Chief all the time, and though my name tag was big as day, I can't say that white man was racist. A little bit annoying, but not racist. Because calling people Chief was the thing. And we can thank Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland for that, because of the movie Renegades, that for some reason calling people Chief was the thing. Except for when you call Lou Diamond Phillips Chief, he would get enraged and fuck people shit up. When people call me Chief, I would get enraged and fuck shit up. But I was doing it well before the movie came out. Well before the movie came out. We sit here, we wonder why this shit's happening. And yet, we don't really do anything about it. We don't try to fix it. We don't try to solve the problem. We don't try to correct the younger generation. I had to talk to my two nephews today. I don't know if you guys can still see me. I had to talk to my two nephews today. Because they keep using the N-word like they're drinking water. There's still sugar and lemonade in here. And a breath mint. And it irks me to no end because of all the things that I've gone through in my life with the N-word. No, it irks me to no end. And so, one of my nephews said that I don't jump down the other one when he says it. Well, I proved his ass wrong today because I jumped down both of them today about this N-word. Because there's a lot of people out here who aren't teaching their young black youth the truth about the N-word. Now, I'm not going to say the words, but supposedly there's a differentiation between N-I-G-G-E-R and N-I-G-G-A-R. Now, I want you guys to believe that. I want you to hop on a flight and carry your ass down to Malcolm X's grave and carry your ass down to Dr. Martin Luther King's grave and deferent that shit to their dead asses. Let me know if you think they're going to come back out the ground and tell you that there's a difference between N-I-G-G-E-R and N-I-G-G-A-R. There's no damn difference. An insult is an insult. And a racially insult is a racially insult. And I told my nephew today, especially the one who thinks he's a true badass, I said, well, if you're not willing to let a white person call you that, why are you calling yourself that? And his little 12-year-old mind said that if a white person did it, that he was going to beat the crap out of him. And I said, you don't have the right to do that. He goes, why? I said, because your dumb ass is doing it to yourself. I said, you and every other dumb young black kid is coming up, what's up my N-word? Instead of, what's up my brother? What's up my sister? And I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that shit too. But I've caught myself a few times saying, nope. Now when people over 60 say it, I don't say nothing to them. I give them a hall pass because they've lived it. But they're still not a woke, as you like to call it. Self-hatred is a motherfucking thing. Alright? And I have a lot of self-hatred because most of my racial incidences have come from black people. You're not really one of us. You're a half-breed. You're not a real N. You're a half-N. And then I got it from white people, but I didn't get it from white people as bad as I got it from black people. See, black people was more like disgust, and white people was more like curiosity. And then found out that I was part Native American. The only thing I got from Asians were, do you have any Asian in you? And I'm like, no, because I didn't know that Native Americans were Asian. So that was like always my answer. When my Korean friend, who's the son of a preacher, made me have a bet that I lost when we went to the library and we got like 20 fucking books. That's actually an extended number. It was probably less than that. Probably between 7 and 10 books. I thought 20 would be more exciting. Anyway, so we got to reading all of this stuff about Native American history. I about flipped my shit. Because somewhere between the 5th grade and college, thank you, Miss Conrad, is when I learned that I was Native American. But somewhere between the 5th grade and college, I forgot about the Bering Straits. I forgot about the land bridge between Russia and Alaska that Native Americans, aka Eskimos, crossed first. Native Americans, aka splintered from Eskimos, and went all the way back around the northern hemisphere, which is why some Icelandic people look Asian. And they went all the way down from Canada to North America to South America. Now, history has shown if you put a Native American beside a Mongolian, a lot of their cultures are the same. But if you put a Native American beside a Chinese person, their facial features look exactly the fucking same. And there are also Asian features in black culture that have nothing to do with Asians at all. However, there's some scientific clusterfucks going on that's still being studied about that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the truth. And the truth of the matter is really quite simple. That if you are black, white, or Asian, that there is someone in your community that is racist. And you will never know who that person is until they are racist to somebody that you know. Now, I want to say that it is a minority versus a majority. But right up until our former president started calling things like the Kung Flu or the Chinese virus or the Asian virus or whatever started happening, there was a low amount of Asian casualties until he got in office. And then there was a giant amount of Asian casualties. But I don't personally have a problem with Trump or his supporters. I have a problem with the shit that nobody stopped him from saying. Shit that nobody thought was cool. I have a problem with him lying to the Lakota Sioux on Standing Rock. I have a problem with 1993's They Don't Look Like Indians to Me. I have a problem with the Central Park Five that was proven innocent and he still refused to apologize for wanting them to be hung. I have a problem with him calling Pocahontas out in front of Navajo code talkers. But I guess you guys aren't going to see that and you're probably going to say James is a racist. Well, I will say that I'm a little biased, but I wouldn't say I'm a racist because I don't give a damn if Trump was black. I'd still be pissed off about that Pocahontas shit. Because I said this before at the beginning of the video, I have one living grandmother left that I haven't really had a chance to go see because of COVID, and her damn name is Pocahontas. I've had 3 Cherokee grandmothers living in my lifetime, and only one remains, and that would be Pocahontas. Now, what Trump failed to understand is that Pocahontas was a hero. She changed her name to Rebecca when she moved to England and never came back. Her children never came back, and for some reason, American royalty did not count when the Europeans came here. Understand that. I think the same thing may have happened in China and Japan when the trade wars were opened and they started selling silk, and then Marco Polo happened, and then Native Americans lost everything here. Everything due to gunpowder from China. So you can see that the world was kind of fucked up. But we as humans, we are fucked up. Alright? To not like someone because of their race or the color of their skin is the biggest sin that you can ever create. You can miss the love of your life because you didn't want to marry a Chinese girl, because your family was racist. You can miss the love of your life because you didn't want to marry a black man, because your family was racist. They would much rather you see somebody beat your ass than see you happy with somebody who will treat you like the gift that God made you for us men. Now, when we can get past skin tone and skin color and accept the beautiful Tai Chi, the snake, the mantis, the crane, the tiger, the dragon, the drunken master, the capoeira, when we can get past the skin tone in martial arts, why can't we get past the skin tone in life? When I see a beautiful woman, I see a beautiful woman, whether she is black, Asian, or white. Now, granted, I have my preference. You know, I like mixed girls too, but if I have a choice, and I say this out loud, and I hope everybody takes it the right way and not the wrong. If I have a choice of getting married, I'm going to marry me a very beautiful Asian woman, and I pray that it's my crush. Or I'm going to marry a Native American woman. Do I have anything bad against black women? No. But I haven't been treated equally by black women. I have been shunned. I've almost died, etc., etc. There's a story about that here somewhere on this YouTube channel. I left off names I've also been mistreated by little black girls growing up all my life. They have also been part of that group that says, you're not really one of us. But of course, people fail to understand, if you are of color and you are not a descendant of Egyptians or the Moors, your skin tone probably ain't going to be this light without some white in there. Alright? Because for some odd reason, Egyptians were exceptionally light. I have no idea how that worked, because I think Egypt also was like one of the highest points that the sun hits, but I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a geologist, so I could be wrong there. But yes, I have white ancestry. I've had maybe 5 white racist incidences, starting in grade school. Alright? I've had 2 Native American incidences. I've had a fuck ton of black incidences. I've never had a problem with the Korean. I've never had a problem with the Chinese. I've never had a problem with the Filipino. And before anyone in that comment goes, that's because you look like them. No. I had probably carried myself more in the direction that they carried themselves versus how everybody else carries themselves. With the exception of my foul-ass mouth. I cuss a lot. Now, I can out-cuss any race of person on this planet. If you are Asian and you cuss, I can out-cuss you if I learn your cuss words. If you are white and you cuss, or black and you cuss, I already got y'all beat. I've been working on my mouth for a very long time to stop cussing. Sometimes things happen and you slip. But, you know, for the most part, when I was a kid, and both sides of my family are cussers, so I picked up a lot of stuff. My Aunt Ruth used to tell me, whenever my mom would tell me something, when my mom and dad were still alive, I would always say, like, hell I am. Then I learned how to say shut the hell up. Then I learned a few other things that I probably shouldn't mention here, especially since I'm reaping what I sow when a little 1-year-old kid that's my nephew, who I taught the arm bar to, tells me the same stuff. Only he has taken it to a whole nother level. But racism. I want to end this right here, right now. Racism is something that you can stop if you choose to stop. If you start seeing people for who they are, when you see women for their beautiful smile, not just their bodies, but their beautiful smiles, you see how awesomely beautiful certain people are. When you see other people for their beautiful smiles, I'm not like gay, but you know, some men have beautiful smiles. When you see the true beauty of being alive and living your life and being happy, racism shouldn't even be a factor. The sad part of this is that we humans don't want to stop racism. Think about it. I just said I wanted to believe that it is a minority versus a majority of racism. I might be wrong. It might be a majority versus a minority. A majority of people are probably racist, while a minority of people are not. I want to believe with all my heart that I'm right, and that it's a minority of people that are racism and a majority of people who want to live in peace and don't have a racist bone in their body. Now, let me contradict myself and let me correct myself, just in case I may have overreached or understepped or overspoke. Now, just because you don't want your son or daughter to marry out of their race doesn't necessarily make you a racist. Not in most people's eyes. In my eyes, it kind of does, but that's just my personal bias, because I've fell in love with a couple of white girls that come from racist families. You know, simple as that. I will not mention their names. They still act kind of suspect racist today. Especially some of them that posted some of their shit, and I'm like, damn. If I would have known that, I probably am so glad that I probably should unfollow you. You know? But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to unfollow anybody because there's just one little problem. I don't fucking know how to do it. And plus, I got better things to do with my time than acknowledge the racism and the racist shit that they post. But see, here's another reason why I'm not going to unfollow them. Because I need to know what the other side is thinking. I need to understand that if you are racist towards me because I'm mixed, or if you're racist towards me because you don't know that I'm mixed, but you can see that I have black in me, if you're racist towards black people, then you're probably racist towards me. So I need to understand what you're thinking so that I can be ready for that knife that's either going to go to my face or into my back. Now, as I close out, I want to talk about reverse racism. I want to talk about Asians that support Trump. So to see that, you're gonna have to see part 2. Thanks for watching.